Yeah, there's a few I like on here. I like Arkansas a lot. I know that UConn has Sonogo, but pretty much all their points come from him. I like that Arkansas team, just the way that they spread the ball a bit more. I think they have more scores they can rely on. Everyone's looking good. Even Jordan Walsh is looking good, who you wouldn't really think is like their main guy. But Nick Smith, he's obviously looked good since he's come back. Maybe future lottery pick, what I think. One of the best freshmen, probably behind Brandon Miller. They just have a good team. They're well coached by Eric Musselman, who was awesome. If you didn't see when they beat Kansas, he like took off his shirt and was throwing it over his head. Like he just plays with such passion. I know his players love him. I like them a lot here, getting 3.5. Even if they don't win outright, they could cover that 3.5. We've seen one possession games all over the tournament. So I love getting the points there. If not, you want to take them a little bit outright. I do like Tennessee a lot too. That FAU run, I think, will be over. That Tennessee defense, they lock everything down. They have length underneath. Like, it's going to be really tough for FAU to pull this off. They had some somewhat favorable matchups in their last two games, and I just think this is a really tough team to go up against here. So I do like Tennessee to cover. I like UCLA. That's probably my favorite pick of the Sweet 16. I know that you were high on Gonzaga. I actually was coming into the tournament too. I think this is the year that they could do it just because the pressure's off their shoulders. They weren't kind of expected to win it outright. But this is a really tough UCLA team. I know they're playing without Jalen Clark. Like, they have a few defensive pieces out. I get that. But they still have Jamie Jaquez. They have a really solid, well-balanced team. Like, they're winning my bracket, so of course I have to pick them here. But I do think that they get past UCLA, or they get past Gonzaga, just because they have the better defense. I think at a certain point, you're going to see this Gonzaga team lose time and time again just because of their defense. Like Mark Few, we know he can coach an offense. They always have one of the best offenses, but it seems like defense is usually what loses them in the tournament. And UCLA, they're ranked second in defensive efficiency, and they still have a pretty good offense to go with it. So I just think that this is a tough game for Gonzaga. UCLA will be able to control the tempo of the game. They play a little bit slower, and they're going to end up covering that 2.5. So those are my three best bets probably for the Sweet 16.
I think we should talk about the games tomorrow too, because I mean we're only a little over 24 hours away, right? I mean we've had to kind of suffer through these last 3 days. Sometimes these are the hardest 3 days of the season because you get used to just watching college basketball all day during the day, all night. You got everything, and then you kind of got to take a break. But this Michigan State Kansas State game, I think this is going to be one of the best games of the first round. I mean, according to the spreads, it's expected obviously to be the closest game, but I mean, the guard playing this game, Marquise Noel, going against Tyson Walker, who's really come along the last few months. I mean, he's elevated his game to a different level. Also, AJ Hogarth, he's stepped up for Michigan State. I love the Spartans in this game. I know Krabs has took a future on them to win a national championship. I actually think that value is really good with kind of their path, the way that they could match up, somewhat favorable. Kansas State's a really good team. The issue for them, and we've talked about this, is going to be on the glass. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete when it comes to rebounding the basketball. They're a little bit undersized. Michigan State has two good bigs that they could throw at you. So I like Sparty in that game. I think that's going to be a heck of a game, though. 1.5 point spread. We saw Kansas State open as a favorite. The line is flipped back in the direction of Michigan State. But I think that game of all the games could be the best one, and we get that early tomorrow too. So we don't have to wait that much longer, guys. Just have to make it through one more day. That game's at 6:30 Eastern time, so that's not bad. That's not a bad time for a game. Just get the day kicked off. Although I do want to say to the people who make the schedule, they had to do a little bit better. I think we should have put the game at like 4 o'clock, right? Just hear me out. Yeah. We do like 4 o'clock. Like, let every game have their own viewing, because this is a little condensed. Like, it's like a 6 o'clock or 6:30, then 7:30, and then it's like 9:30. So not everyone has two TVs, right? I mean, some people only have one. So I think we should have done a little bit better scheduling these games. Spread them out. Let the kids play during the day. They're not going to class right now. It's March Madness. I mean, what's their excuse?
During March Madness.
They're not going to class during March Madness. I don't think they are.
Princeton kids might be going to class during March Madness.
That is true. Nigel did point that out. Some people do have day jobs. But what I would say, if you have a day job, tell your boss it's time. It's time to take a day off, right?
It's or Sweet 16.
Yes, yeah. Watch it at the office. Watch it in school. When everyone in school, you used to watch it. 4:30, I think we can make that work. Maybe 5 o'clock, but that's probably why. And then that Arkansas UConn game, also to touch on that, I think we were just talking about best games of the tournament. So originally, you guys know this, I had Arkansas in my Elite Eight. I got scared. People call me dumb. They call me names, and I put Kansas over them. So I let them get in my head, guys. Are you calling me dumb, Melissa? So I'm
Hey, I don't know how that's different from any other day in your life.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. See, I've been called a lot of names, but this one hurts because I had it ready. You know what I mean? I had this ready to go. It was done in my head. I was like, Arkansas's making a run. We know how good they are, but then I got scared. I got scared off by the Twitter trolls, and I picked Kansas. But anyway, I'm gonna fade Arkansas now. So now I'm back to fading them once again. I'm gonna take UConn in this game. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they have someone who can bang with Snogo down there, Ben. I don't know. We'll see. They're a young team. They're good, but UConn's hot. I think UConn's playing with a lot of momentum. Obviously, Arkansas is too, but I don't know. I like UConn in that game to get it done.
You don't like Mekhi Mitchell to shut down Sonogo?
No, I don't think so.
He's a pretty good defender.
Well, too young. I don't know. Sonogo's got that experience. I think they sneak past them, but at 3.5, it's not a big spread. So I mean, they could be tied all game. Then they foul into a cover. But I think that'll be a really good game. What other game is Gonzaga UCLA tomorrow? No, wait, it is. Oh man.
Yeah, that should be a pretty good game. I think that's the night game too. Yeah,
You're UCLA.
Little nightcap there.
That's your you're all in on UCLA. That's your national.
I haven't maxed it yet, but I'll probably put 2 units on UCLA. There's a reason I have them winning my bracket. Obviously, I had them going through Gonzaga before the tournament started, and they've looked pretty good. Like, I know that they haven't had necessarily like the toughest matchups, but that Northwestern game, like, they did have to bear down a little bit. They looked pretty good. And Gonzaga had to get past TCU, but I mean, I'm mad at Gonzaga right now because they just let that last 3 go in. So I'm a little mad at them right now. So I'm going to fade them anyway because of that. Because I mean, that was a pretty close game, like near the end there before they kind of pulled away. So it was a good game. But yeah, I just think UCLA is more well-rounded. So I do think Houston is on upset alert. So actually, before the tournament started, I said Houston is going to get out either in this. Well, I said to Iowa, but then Iowa didn't end up winning. I said if they don't lose to Iowa, they're going to end up losing to Miami. And then a bunch of people told me that Drake was going to beat Miami. But here we are, Miami, Houston. Before the tournament, I said Houston will lose to Miami before the first round even started. So it's coming. So I'm playing Miami plus 7.5. I might look at the money line just because I get that Jim Larinaga is just like built for March. It seems like, yeah, maybe defensively Miami won't be in this game, but last year it was kind of the same thing. They didn't have a good defense, and they just were like rolling past with their offense. They made a great run, lost to Kansas, who ended up winning the tournament, and now they're kind of in the same spot this season. Few wins. Now they're facing up against the 1 seed, who everyone kind of expects to win the tournament. I like them to get it done just with their really hot offense. Like, all their young players that they had last year are getting they're a year older now. They have the experience from last season. Isaiah Wong, Jordan Miller, Nigel Pack. Like, they have a bunch of guys that just like have the experience to win this game. So I like Miami.
I do like Miami. I want to touch back on that Gonzaga game though, because we're opposite there. Because Gonzaga is my national champ. I don't know who's. All right, here's the thing with UCLA, right? They don't have a big, in my opinion, that's going to be able to stop Timmy because all their bigs foul. Like, I think they're going to foul out by the second half. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Timmy. I mean, nobody draws more fouls than him. UCLA also, offensively, I don't know if they can keep pace. I mean, you mentioned Jaime Jaquez and obviously Tiger Campbell. They got some experience, but like watching that Gonzaga game, see, I didn't get to watch a lot of games this weekend, guys. So I went to the games in Orlando, but then I got dragged into doing like Magic. So I'm on like the Winnie the Pooh like spinning cups while I'm sweating out these bets. You know what I mean? So it was it was hard for me to watch these games, but I was able to catch the UCLA game or Gonzaga game because it was late, and I was able to watch the end of that. But that game was just in the second half. I just felt you mentioned it was a close game, Ben, but the second half I felt like Gonzaga had complete control. Like it didn't feel like they were ever going to lose in the second half of the game. Once they get going offensively, I don't know if there's anyone better right now in the country. And I think that's headline because, Drew Timme is the best, in the ping right now in the conference. So we'll see if they keep pace. I think Gonzaga at plus money though. I'm not passing that up. But I did forget, for some reason I thought that was Friday. Now I'm nervous. I hate when my national champ can be gone because 2 of my Final Four teams are gone, so I need Gonzaga to win.
I will say this. As far as like offensively, defensively, you said you don't know if they can keep up. The only team the entire season who beat Maryland at home was UCLA, and Maryland only scored 60 points in that game. Now, I know we're talking about a game way back in December, so like it's not super applicable now, and they had Jalen Clark. Like, I understand that's a
Yeah.
different scenario, but you're talking about the only team who went into Maryland, into College Park, and beat Maryland at home, because Maryland was like super hot at home, and not only beat them, they blew them out, and Maryland, a really good offensive team, only put up 60 points. So like, that's how suffocating. That's just like for me to say how suffocating their defense is. Like, they can
Yeah,
shut
defense is very good.
basically anyone down. So
No,
I do like them to control the pace of the game.
their defense is definitely very good. It comes down to who's going to establish their pace, right? And
Yeah.
it's kind of just, you think UCLA, I think Gonzaga will, but we'll see. I think that'll be a good one. Real quick, though, before we turn the page to our best bets, just so we can say we did all these bets games today, because you guys won't be here tomorrow. FAU against Tennessee. So want to point out, these lines are from FanDuel, right? On DraftKings, this line's 5.5. So just like I know books, obviously vary with lines. That's why we got OddsChecker here to show you guys the best lines. But if you like Tennessee, get to FanDuel, because I'm surprised this line's still 4.5 there. It did open 5.5. I believe on FanDuel it opened 5.5 as well. But yeah, I'm surprised the line's this short. I watched that Tennessee Duke game. Tennessee is just so physical. Like, they're just men playing boys. I think their big man, what's his name? Plasic, I think he's 29. Like, Vescovi's like 25. Like, their team's like, I think their starters have a combined age of like 170. Like, they're just very old men, and they play like it. They kind of just play their bully ball style of play, and they're defensively. I mean, you talk about suffocating with UCLA, Ben. Tennessee just gives you no room to breathe.
Oh, yeah.
And that was against Duke. I think if you could shut down Duke, who was the hottest team in the nation, and with no disrespect to FAU's also had a pretty easy path here. I mean, the refs kind of helped them out against Memphis, and then they beat Fairleigh Dickinson. Like, they haven't really done much this year. They also didn't really play anyone during the regular season. This will be their toughest game of the year, in my opinion. And I think playing your toughest team of the season at this stage is really tough to just go out there and adjust. So this is going to be a max play for me. Ben, you talked about those 2 unit plays on UCLA. I'm all in on Tennessee. I'm hitting them first half. I'll hit them full game. I think they blow them out in this game. I'm really surprised this line's so short. I get it that FAU's been able to. I guess it's the largest line of the day. Friday we get some big lines, guys. Look at those lines. Closest line's 4.5. So I guess we're expecting some close games tomorrow, and then Friday a lot of heavy favorites. But yeah, that Tennessee game is going to be interesting. I just don't see how FAU physically matches up with Tennessee. They're just bigger, stronger, better athletes. I just don't think they'll be able to compete in that game.
Yeah, and like FAU, like I was saying earlier, they kind of had, when you look at their schedule to get here, Memphis was a good matchup for them, because they were able to like get out and run with them and kind of make it like super close at the end, just because the tempo was up. And then they got FDU, who was the second 16 seed to ever win, and a 16 seed has never made the Sweet 16. So I mean, like, they got 2 decent matchups, and now they're playing Tennessee, who is not a good matchup for them, like, at all. And Tennessee like really proved themselves in that Duke game, I feel like, because everyone had Duke. It seemed like everyone was super high on Duke, and then Tennessee was like, no, you're only going to score 52 points. Like, they only let them get 50. Yeah, I mean, like, they shut them down. So I mean, yeah, their defense is just scarier than UCLA's.
We didn't get a real comment because our comments are still broken. It's not our fault, guys. It's Twitter's fault. But we're not going to blame it on ourselves. This is all on Twitter. So let's talk about. Someone asked about that Princeton Creighton game real quick. What do you guys think? 10 points there for Princeton, doesn't it? I mean, they've kind of rolled through. They knocked off Arizona. They completely controlled that Missouri game. Obviously, Creighton's a much better team. In my opinion, they're much better. Did Ben freeze? Looks like he froze.
I think we're all frozen.
Oh, okay. It's not us. It's just I thought Ben froze on the line. I didn't realize we all like kind of froze, but sometimes it just does that. We're not actually frozen. But I'm not. I'm back in Princeton again. So originally I said Creighton's going to blow them out. Then I kind of sat down and I thought about it, and I was just like, this might be a team of destiny. So I think we see Princeton win and Miami win. All right. So those are the 2. I think we see some upsets here. I think we see a 15. Has a 15 ever made the Elite 8? Does anyone know? I'll say no.
Didn't St. Peter's was Sweet 16, right? Did they get knocked out in the Sweet 16? Can't remember if they made the Elite 8 or not.
No, they lost in the Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, that's right. So no, I don't think so.
Who's
I
this?
mean, not to my knowledge.
No. All right, so Princeton is going to be the dog of the day. They're gonna get to the Elite Eight, and then who plays first, Miami or Houston, or Miami or Princeton? Let me say whoever plays. So it's going to go. So all right, so Miami plays at 7:15. They'll win, and then Princeton wins too. So there's the two dogs. Alabama's going to win. They'll keep going. Alabama's kind of had an easy path. I hate to say it. Like they had Maryland, now, like no disrespect to San Diego State, but I mean they're not great. Like they are what they are. I think Alabama kills them in that game. But yeah, so I think they win that. But
The thing-
it's done.
All I was gonna say about Princeton is the thing that surprises me is like I was watching like I watched the game actually, the one against Missouri, but like all the highlights where these 3-pointers made, like they haven't even been super hot from three. When they beat Arizona, they only shot 16% from three. They shot 4 for 25, and then when they played Missouri, they only shot 12 for 33. They were 36%, which is like decent, but it's not like they were like shooting 50% from three. Like, yeah, they're making open shots and stuff, but I wouldn't even say they're like shooting above their means necessarily. They're just playing well. It's not even like they're just relying on these crazy shots that they've been hitting. And not the Arizona game, but the Missouri game was a blowout, and they weren't even shooting like crazy numbers. They were still around their season averages. So it's like they haven't really been playing above usual expectations. I think they're just playing good basketball. So like, yeah, plus 10 is good here. I would agree on that. Obviously, I think Creighton wins. I have them beating Bama in the next round. Yeah, I wouldn't hate the points here.
Okay, that's bold. Yeah, well, I think we should be able to like redo a bracket. Like, I think they should. Here you guys go. Here's a new Sweet 16 bracket, and then see who wins. I mean, if you still win that, it's still. Do you think if they let people do it from the Sweet 16 on, we would see a perfect bracket?
Yeah, I think so.
Higher chance.
I mean, yeah, I would, because like people just fill out like 20 brackets, and then like they would be able to like mathematically find a way
just do every scenario.
Every scenario. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you would have to have a lot of time on your hands, but you'd probably be famous.
If you band together with your friends, you might
could do it. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, hire more people. Let's do this together. Yeah, let's make it a team effort. I kind of like that. So, a lot of games tomorrow, guys. It feels good. It's kind of like I needed that break on Monday because even though, again, I didn't watch most of the games this week, unfortunately. But I still mentally needed the break because like you're betting on every game. Let me tell you, it's bad when you're in like Disney parks and the way you're getting it's like loading it on ESPN because it's also the slowest app ever, and you're just dying. Like, is my team covering? Is my team not covering? So I'm very excited to be able to just watch it in front of my TV this week. But no, it'll be fun to see who comes out with the wins. But back to work tomorrow, guys. We do not have much time.
Back to work. With that being said, I am going to take a chance and bet against you and Krabs and take Kansas State at MSG. We got like 4 New Yorkers in the Garden, so Marquise Noel, and there's like 3 others, so we'll see what happens.
Marquise Noel kind of is like a cool story. Did you see? So I guess he's from New York.
I not have said that. We should have.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm in trouble. Well, I guess he's from there, right? And he went to school and he like hasn't gone back because he was like, I'm working on my game. So I mean, this guy's all about ball. But now it's his return. He's gonna have a lot of supporters there. So yeah, he's
a lot of doubters. So we'll see. I mean, Coach John was not impressed.
Yeah, I think he called him like a short man or something, or short guy. But apparently they made it up. They made up. Yeah. Noel tweeted out yesterday that they have talked, and yes, he's not making fun of him for being short anymore. You can't really call him short when he torches you. I mean, he was the reason they won. Even if he's short, he still got it done. But no, he's a good story. He's easy to root for. So I don't hate the pick, Melissa. I mean, it's probably going to lose because I'm on Michigan State. I'm confident. But how about this? You take their spread and Michigan State wins by 1. Let's do that.